Stop. No, I just did that. There's no way those are real people. Generic intro into that goes boo. Here back with another What Happened video by McMuscles, and today we are doing Balan Wonderworld, which is a game I've never played before, but I did watch Alpharad's video on it, which I think that video actually did really well on the channel. Still don't know why it's called Wonderworld instead of Wonderland. Still don't understand that, but I think we're probably going to understand it a little bit better, because there's a whole lot of like, why did they do this and why didn't they do this kind of ideas with Balan Wonderworld. So I imagine Matt's probably going to give a little bit of insight as to why this game is the way that it was. You can check reaction to the last video, which was about Midway Games, the gaming company. I'll leave my reaction to that right up there. Also, been linked down below in the description, and maybe I'll make a playlist for the What Happened series on my channel if you all keep enjoying these videos. Let me know what the next one should be. I do read our comments, so leave some down below. I thought this one was rather interesting, but shout out to the patrons. I could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month get you all my reaction videos a day early. I'm completely against paywalls because I'm here to make you smile, not make you pay, and hope you're subscribed, as we are less than 4,000 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers, which is crazy because only like 20%, I think it's like 80% of my audience isn't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate it. Also, likes are really important if you enjoy the video, but you definitely go check out the original as well, as this video is getting close to 1 million views. So let's go ahead and find out why Balan Wonderworld is the way that it is. Alright, this game is certainly something. If you want to check out my reaction to Alpharad's video about this, I played Balan's Wonderworld so you wouldn't have to. That's on my channel. That was like a while ago. There's so many like questions about this game.
It's time for What Happened, a series of video essays gussied up like a cheesy game show to soften the blow of hearing about these sad stories from the video game and movie industries. I'm talking like this right now because I gotta be honest, this is gonna be a rough one, folks.
But now, I just want to know why.
Yuji Naka, legendary game producer during Sega's heyday, before moving on to Square Enix in 2018 in an unknown capacity. That capacity is now very well known. Balan Wonderland is what Yuji Naka has been up to since he joined Square Enix some 3 years ago. But before that, he had spent more than a decade at Probe, the company he established after he jumped from the smoking, exploding, nose-diving plane crash that was the Sonic 06 disaster.
Oh no, it was Sonic 06.
Probe produced more experimental titles like Let's Tap,
check out the original.
And Rodeo.
I love Kiwis.
It's been like 30 seconds since we started the episode, and I've already mentioned another game. I'm gonna have to talk about it another time. Anyway, Probe was a small company, and while their games certainly had some charm, they nevertheless weren't really big money spinners, which is doubly,
but did they cost a lot to make?
Triply so with Sky Soldier. During this same time, Naka also contributed to a few outside titles, and one that's of particular note is We Play Motion, which, if you don't remember, and I assume no one but Scott the Woz even does, was a minigame collection that was designed by multiple studios. Now, the main developer of We Play Motion was a company called Arzest. They handled the programming and other technical aspects, while completely separate studios designed the actual mechanics of the minigames. Why is this important? Well, this two-way style development must have struck a chord with Yuji Naka because once the financial fallout of Rodeo was apparent, Naka then joined up with Square Enix, as stated earlier, and Probe was shut down, except they weren't. Strangely, Naka confirmed as late as 2018 that the company is technically not dead, as it still has one single employee.
It's gonna be him? It's Sonic. Hi, Sonic. It's not Sonic, but
that's weird. Anyway, let's move on. Not long after he was hired, a subsidiary was formed around Naka to develop titles under the Square Enix umbrella, games that they wouldn't normally publish.
Balan Company?
Now, originally, Naka's first inclination was to make something simple and accessible, and had planned to make that a social-focused game
Twitter logo in my overlay.
Phones. Shinji Hashimoto, however, Square Enix executive officer, persuaded Naka to change course and to start work on a platformer. He needed approval from the other heads of Square Enix first, of course, but once that was granted, the subsidiary was named Balan Company, and as we'll see, wasn't set up like a traditional studio at all. Their business model was centered around a core group of designers and artists who would do the planning and pre-production work, and once that was done, would then hire another company to handle the programming and asset building, which is pretty neat, I guess. Although it does.
I guess it would work, right?
I heard of that before. I just can't remember.
What? What is that? New concept? Oh,
right. That's not to say that this
happened there?
Of game development can't and hasn't worked in the past. It's just, well, it's possibly a contributing factor as to why what happened.
Yeah, what happened?
Why? Platformers had Arzest worked on that impressed Naka and Square Enix so much that they decided that they were the team to hire? Well, that would be Yoshi's New Island.
Wait. So because they made Yoshi's
Mario and Sonic at the Rio
They stopped making the Olympic game, didn't they?
Olympic Games 3DS, I think that counts.
Does it?
And hey, Pikmin, that 2D action-focused Pikmin spin-off that you only just now remembered even existed.
I just had to stop playing it because I kept getting sad when they would die. Little Pikmin would die. I would get sad.
That's it. But that's fine. That's fine. Everyone needs to start somewhere.
Stop.
Right?
No, I just did that. I just.
Cry 2 made Devil May Cry 3 for crying out loud.
Oh, I should hopefully be starting Devil May Cry 3 this coming up Saturday. Hopefully. Or I'm finishing Devil May Cry 2.
Wait, No, it's
also on the gaming channel.
It's not called Wonder. It's called Wonderworld.
Why is it Wonderworld?
Then why have I been called
it must be
Wonderland?
a translation.
Why didn't someone tell me? Oh, I've been making an idiot out of myself.
General plan from the start for Balan Wonderworld's development had a few red flags that were slowly being raised. Some things were just.
I mean, the name should have been a red flag from the start.
Even though the genre and platforms had changed, what remained?
What would you rather play, Balan's
desire to design the game
Wonderworld
to be
or
as accessible to the widest amount of people, with children being cited as a major demographic that they wanted to target. This would explain the general theme, the playable children avatars, and the art style, but it would best explain the game's incredibly simplistic mechanics. You can jump, sometimes collect a few things, and finally you put on
what is the target demographic, like age range? Because like kids
do one thing and
their interests change real quick.
Every button you press on your controller does the one special move specific to that costume. Some costumes do not allow you to jump, for example. Others don't really allow you to attack, and so on. Now, if they wanted to design a game to appeal to children, keeping things as simple as possible makes sense, but there has to be a balance between simplicity and engagement.
I'm guessing no playtesting?
The game's producer, stated, "One of our goals for development was to create a game with every kind of action, to put in over 80 different kinds of action. But even if you include a huge variety of actions in game, it's difficult to map all those to the buttons. It's difficult for the player to remember them all, and it's difficult to create the opportunity to use them all. When we were thinking about how to make it easy for the player to understand and use all the actions to their fullest, we came up with the idea of having only one action per costume. This meant we could make the action controls intuitive, and the gameplay simple enough to be enjoyed by anyone." Now, I'm sure many of you
I would appreciate that, because every time I play like a new game, I have to remember the controls.
Yes, designing 80 specific special moves and having you collect them one at a time and limiting all other actions does.
Do they force you to use different ones?
Technically simpler, but also makes it far slower, limited, and way more tedious. This decision was fundamental in dooming Balan Wonderworld from the very beginning, as it did quite the opposite from allowing all ages to enjoy it. Its plotting pace, simple puzzles, and brain-dead combat was clearly designed with the younger set in mind, completely ostracizing older fans who had grown up with Balan's inspirations, Sonic and Knights. Almost every mechanic or artistic choice is clearly lifted from both, except the ones that made those games so engaging. The real drive during development seems to have been to make as
there's
many
exactly
costumes
80
as
of them.
possible. That was the goal, and that was going
It's almost
to
like
be the appeal. A real
merchandising was
back-of-the-box
kind of
feature, see? Now,
kind of
in a lot
planned.
of typical game
They're like,
development
we
cycles,
can
you
sell
tend to
80
overdesign
different,
to make
like,
too much of one thing, and then
little
have to scale
toys.
it back to focus on a set of mechanics. But
Like,
that
if a kid
wasn't
really
the
likes
case
one of them.
with Balan.
There's
In
bowling.
interviews, Naka and others said they assumed
I hate it,
they'd
my table
have to
starts
make
flying.
lots of cuts and to focus on a smaller number of costumes. But then they just decided, fuck it, why not put all of them in there? Well, when you have
so they
different weapons or
they didn't turn away
or
any
power-ups,
characters?
you're inevitably going to wind up with a lot of superfluous ones, and it's no different here. This then makes level
like Bad Weapon
design
Academy.
tricky, because since the game lacks any central mechanics or moves, you're required to constantly switch out costumes, and it's the only way to progress.
Oh. No, I dislike that.
This is very much unlike many
Like,
Sonic or
Genshin
Mario
Impact does
or
that,
any
and I'm
other
just like,
platforms
ah,
where most of
I have to
the power-ups
completely,
are
like,
optional
add
or
somebody else to my
permanent and
team
not
because I have to
forcing
do
you
this
to
one thing.
laboriously navigate through
Drives me
80 of
insane.
them to find what you want. And for the sake of argument, let's just say they decided in the last few months of development,
How many months?
let's just cut out like 70% of these powers and then just rebuild all the levels to support those better. Well, that would have been a monumental amount of work. See, they wanted to make the game
was the budget
available
for
to
this?
as many people as possible on as many devices as possible, which included the Switch, the PC, the PS4, the Xbox
So they
One,
make a
the
phone
Xbox
version.
Series X, and the PS5. The amount
Okay,
of testing, balancing, polishing, and optimization
mean, they kinda
required
nailed all
to
of
make
them.
such a change across
not mobile,
all
which, I
versions
mean-
would have delayed it way past
Actually, to
an
be fair,
acceptable point for Square
could be
Enix.
mobile.
And throwing brand new consoles in the mix like the PS5 and the Series X also complicated matters even further. This is due to the fact that when asked about what platforms Balan would bow on, Hashimoto offered, whenever you're developing on a pre-launch development console,
Yeah, it
the
makes
tricky
things
thing
difficult.
that many may not
I guess they
realize
don't
is
get access
if you
to the
encounter
tech,
a
maybe?
bug, it takes more time to resolve, whether it was a problem with
Yeah,
the
it's
game
the problem with
or a
being on,
problem
like,
with
the leading
hardware.
edge
On the
of
other
technology
hand,
and
the
software.
overwhelming specs of the console meant that some technical limitations we faced previously were removed completely. This meant we got a bit carried away with the excitement, coming up with more and more costumes we wanted to add in during development.
Why did they get so
Now,
costume
because
happy?
they had so many costumes, it presented a problem. How do you design levels that can account for all these various factors and options? You don't want one part of the stage to be accessible while wearing a specific costume it's not meant for, letting the player easily break the game.
Oh, yes,
You also
what I
have
do.
to consider enemy placement. How can you predict what power-up the player has before every enemy encounter? Well, what did they do? They used an AI algorithm to scale
Did they
difficulty,
actually?
to place
Really?
the power-ups and the enemies.
Does it- wait, does it not
every
work
level.
good?
So yeah, if you've played
Let's
Balan
see how well it
Wonderworld
works.
and you find it kind of bland,
I have not played it.
generic, by the numbers formula.
I literally watched a video, so I wouldn't have to play it.
Well, there's a reason.
That's the name of Alfred's
portion
video.
Of the game was designed by Skynet.
Terminator,
now,
I
one
think?
of the game's positives, its gorgeous CGI animated cutscenes, has its own interesting origin, and that origin was that they were
that's not
never
good.
meant to be included at all. The design team at Balan Company had originally planned to only incorporate in-game cutscenes to push the narrative. Visual Works, Square Enix's own in-house CGI subsidiary, were responsible for some stunning shit, campaigned and lobbied to work on the project. So the fact that the best part of the game wasn't originally going to be in the game at all is a little unbelievable. The game was
like, they've
first
literally just made a
unveiled with
movie.
trailer in 2020, and a lot of people were excited. No one knew what Yuji Naka had been working on, and now
I mean,
it's
also
going
with
to be a big
the cinematics
mascot
that they had.
platformer, and he's teamed up with Sonic's original visual designer Naoto Oshima after 20 years, and it has the backing of Square Enix. What could
It says
go
home
wrong?
run written all
The
over it.
demo is what could go wrong. Balan
The demo.
Wonderworld's public
Why is
demo
that guy
damaged
big?
the game's image immeasurably. Instead of reaffirming people's positive vibes they had going in, the game's simplistic design, glacial pace, and dumbed-down difficulty was put on display for all the world to play.
So, people that grew up playing Sonic that were happy
and hot takes
did not
exploded
get
all
what they
over
thought.
The dream world that is
Snapcube?
cyberspace. Balan was not very engaging, with the basic gameplay, the controls, camera, and its performance being among some, but not
So
all
their
of
target
people's
demographic
gripes. this demo
wasn't exactly
a summoning circle that
what people wanted.
This negative miasma that hung around the project from then all the way up until its launch, and it never really went away. The feedback was bad enough that it spurred the creators to issue a statement.
What did they say?
Yoshi Fujimoto, in a long-winded letter to fans to try to big up the game's positives, its world, the characters, those 80 costumes of course, also tucked away in the very end of said letter, there's been a wide range of opinions and responses to the demo. And unfortunately,
at least he acknowledged
at the
it.
current stage of development, it simply isn't feasible to reflect every piece of feedback into the game. However,
so what did they
offer
change?
You all a more balanced gameplay experience, we will be implementing a day one patch for the full game. Specifically, this patch will adjust movement controls, camera movement, and rebalancing of the difficulty. Unfortunately, that meant the day one patch would not be redesigning most of the game, but it's with most of the game that people had a problem with. It simply wasn't all that interesting or
it was probably too late.
But not too long after that,
the demo, like literally the demo backfired. The demo was meant to build hype and it did the opposite of that.
That this Wonderworld wouldn't induce seizures in a percentage of the population.
Huh?
When footage of a boss fight started making its way online, it had several instances of a photosensitive effect that's so bad, I'm not even going to show it in a censored form. But believe me, it was bad, like battling seizure robots bad. This news spread so fast that Square Enix, quicker
what was it? There was an
than a
episode.
bump full of dynamite, announced
was there a Pokemon episode that like got banned in Japan because of that or something?
Urged players to download and install this day one patch to correct this, but regardless, it's always really bad when something like this gets through testing. If someone buys a physical copy of Balan, which is admittedly not very likely, and their console isn't online,
physical copies of
they
games
simply don't install the patch, well, it could lead to potential lawsuits. It was certainly another blackout
Wait, really?
for
If
the
you
game,
don't install an update, that means that they're no longer liable. I guess that doesn't
industry's newest
cover their negligence.
Unfortunately, the poor feedback accrued from the demo continued over to the full game. Now,
I never heard of the game until the Alpharad video.
So that had never shipped a
somehow I don't know. Like I literally woke up today, checked Twitter, and apparently Nintendo had a direct about indie games. I'm like, I was just asking about Nintendo Direct on Monday.
The vitriol that more potent. Platformers are a tricky thing to get right. Sure, they can be appealing to kids, what with their bright colors and sugary odors. Oh, it'll never be the darling of the so-called platforming fathers who cluck their tongues, stroke their mustaches, and talk about what's to be done with this Balan Wonderworld.
Okay.
Anyway, music was also a point of contention.
Also, all of them
now,
in the studio
most of it is because it's not especially memorable. The allegations that one of its composers, Ryo Yamazaki, copied other famous songs is.
From Ghostbusters.
It should be noted, though, that the jury is still out on that. Moving on, while reviews were
it's actually kind of crazy how many
for the final game,
39
there were some
Metascore
on sites like Metacritic that were positive. A bit too positive.
Why?
Readers noticed a huge influx
most
of
like songs have a lot of like little
opinions
pieces in them from other songs.
Section. Most of them
Very
in
common.
broken English, and all of them hilarious.
So are those reviews by actual
Best game
people?
of the decade. A
Really?
Experience to live for. Just
That's
have some good
a take.
moments of fun with a nice platform. This is the greatest platform game made in the whole gen. Egregious and absolutely stunning game.
I mean, yeah, the game doesn't look bad. I have no problem with the art style.
I just have to include it. I came in blind, but wow, this is a masterpiece unparalleled by anything else in industry. This really Wonderworld reminds me of playing
they mentioned going into a blind. So they're like, hey, don't look up a demo for it.
Second best game of all time, Shadow the Hedgehog. Who wrote this, Liam? I feel like speedy little rodent in the field while playing, pouncing upon old dancer who may dare intrude on my style. Gameplay is Mario Odyssey, but much more impressive than anything that Baka Miyamoto could ever create.
Wow.
Story impressive.
Throwing shade on Miyamoto?
Meaning. It's like Hideo Kojima, but with a hat god. Many peoples are blinded by hate and greed.
There has to be a video just talking about reviews for this game, right?
Balan has been affected by such a tragic fate. Do not listen to those that are not sound of mind. Try this game and become abundant in fun.
abundant and fun.
Legendary. Now,
there's no way those are real people.
Is rare, but it does happen. It could have been just a bunch of enthusiastic old Sega fans that just wanted to big up Naka's latest, or maybe a marketing company who are trying to salvage a game's poor reputation. We don't really know for sure. What is for sure is that one little bit towards the end of that last review. Balan has suffered a tragic fate. As of this writing, the game's commercial performance has been revealed.
To be what? How bad?
In its first week in Japan, across all versions, it failed to crack the top 30, with estimates hovering around 2,000 copies sold. The Nintendo eShop charts in both Japan and North America were also bereft of Balan's magic.
Steam.
But in the UK physical charts, it also failed to break the top 40.
Top 40?
This clearly didn't work out.
Does that mean it's like 41?
Naka and Balan Company can take a look at what went wrong and eventually release another completely different platformer that can. Sonic co-creator says Balan Wonderworld is his one chance to make a new 3D platformer.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently Square Enix upper management only greenlit the project on the grounds that if it wasn't a success, it would be the last time they would publish such a game. That's a weirdly harsh mandate and not entirely fair.
I guess did they announce that beforehand? I saw that headline, but
children, but it wasn't really marketed that way. In fact,
especially when you mention, the people that made Sonic.
And now there's even
the people that played Sonic and grew up with Sonic are not kids.
Were possible with no real reason given. Square Enix
apparently there's another Sonic movie coming out. I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen trailers for any of them.
The Wonderworld demo across every single platform. This is similar to Sega's move in 2010, where they delisted the digital version of Sonic 06, as it was similarly damaging the brand. And there's been no word from any official source if the demo will relaunch in the future, or the status of the bonus costumes players could attain through it. Yeah, so
wait, you got costumes for playing the demo?
And in terms
of the
demo
that made people not buy the game?
Well, there's been no word on that either. Will there be a new massive patch that overhauls things?
No.
Is that even worth it at this point?
It's not going to get No Man's Sky saved.
The sales numbers being so dreadful, it just might be that this
Are they coming out with anything for this game anymore?
Closed permanently. That wasn't easy. Okay, that was just bad vibes all over. Anyway, if you know of any other perilous projects plagued with platforming problems, let me know.
Okay, that's way too many
Jump
P's.
And bop over to my Twitter or open a magic door into the Flophouse VIP Patreon to nominate the subject you'd like to see next. See you next time.
Yeah, let me know what the next video should be. I am playing Devil May Cry series right now, so that's something. Edited by Jason Ruth Rolf. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully the song isn't copywritten. That's the thing. Also, Bum McFumbles videos. Oh, dude, I need to do another one of those. It's been so long. I also need to do Game Champ 3000's video on Mega Man, I think. I think she did a new video on Mega Man. Game Champ 3000 actually watched all of the videos that I did of hers and commented on most of them and responded to other comments. I'd love to see that. But I do read all your comments, so leave some down below. This is Balan Wonderworld. I hope you check out the original video, link down below in the description. And I imagine you've seen other What Happened videos by Matt McMuscles, so let me know which ones you think I should watch next, based on my limited knowledge of video games, even though I've been playing video games for longer than a lot of people. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it made your day a tiny little bit better. But until next video, take care and keep the music.
We were playing